Hey everyone. So in my last video, I was speaking about Raspberry Pis and the fact that I still think they're awesome. I still find them to be incredibly useful. And apparently many of you guys do as well. Many thanks to everyone who watched the video and left a comment. It's been really interesting hearing about how you guys are using Raspberry Pis. Now in that video, I was talking about the fact that my Raspberry Pi 5 right now, I'm using it a lot. And I'm using it to play around with things. I'm testing different operating systems and I'm testing new apps and I'm testing different ways to connect to different computers. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. What I've been doing a lot recently is experimenting with different ways to connect to different computers remotely using secure shell, remote desktop, and different things. So I thought I would just give you a quick look at what I've been doing. So this is my main PC area, my main PC, the monitors that I use, my overhead camera, my main camera, and it's always messy. I'm always working on different things. I'm always trying different things here. So that is my main battle station, but over here we have something different. So this is my other monitor. This is actually what I'd consider my main gaming monitor, because if you look down here, I've got my Xbox Series X, and over here, well, look at that, we've got the Raspberry Pi 5, and I've just connected a keyboard and mouse, and I've got it connected to, if I get this down, bring it down, there we go. I've got it connected to this monitor here into the second HDMI port, and the reason I've done that is so that I can connect my Raspberry Pi 5. So is that level now? I think that's about as level as we're going to get. So this is my Raspberry Pi 5 connected up to this monitor, and I've got Ubuntu on it just now, and this is a very clean version of Ubuntu. I've basically just installed it a few days ago, and I haven't really done much with it, but what I have done is play around with some things. Now, the great thing about Linux is that the terminal's so easy to get to. They've always got shortcuts to it, etc. You can go in there, you can change settings, you can install packages, etc. But what I have been doing recently is playing a lot with secure shell, with remote desktops, etc. And one of the greatest applications I've found in Ubuntu is called, if I pronounce this right, Ramina. So this is a remote desktop client, and I've set this up to connect to my mini PC downstairs. And I've got an SSH connection, and I've got a remote desktop protocol connection, RDP connection as well. Now, I've not actually got the RDP connection set up correctly, which is why I've been messing about with this a lot tonight. But the SSH connection is fine, port 22. And effectively what this does is you just, connect it here. And now I am connected to my other Ubuntu installation downstairs, and I can do what I want with it now. I can install packages, I can copy files, I can check programs, I can do anything I want with it. Now, obviously that is the command line, that is the terminal. But if I was connected to RDP, which I will be soon, then I will be able to connect it using the GUI, the graphical user interface. And that's what I've been experimenting a lot with recently. I do have RDP set up on this computer here. The ports are open because I have connected it with my Windows computer. I've only recently set up this Ubuntu installation on my Raspberry Pi, which is why I've not configured this correctly yet. I have to check the settings, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to remotely control the other computer from here. And it sounds silly doing that, but there's a lot of benefits from doing that, because you can kind of remotely call into one particular computer and use that securely to connect to other computers. There's lots of different ways to do it. But as you know, there are applications out there that let you do this type of thing, such as TeamViewer, AnyDesk. You can obviously use Real VNC Viewer and all that as well with a VNC connection. That was another thing I did actually test today as well. I was messing around with Tiger VNC. Now, it's not exactly the most exciting thing, but I do spend a lot of time in the command line testing different applications, trying out different software. And again, this is where the Raspberry Pi comes into its own, because you don't have to really mess about with, setting up new computers. You don't have to mess about with your existing computers and change the way that those computers boot up. You can just put a new operating system, a new version of Linux onto a micro SD card, put it into your Raspberry Pi, and then just start playing around with things. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just great to have this as a playground to try some new things. You know, when it comes to ports and different things like that, I do have some knowledge of all this. I've worked in IT for a long time, you know, been at university and learned a lot. You know, I did a software development at university as well many years ago. So I do have some knowledge with all of this, but like many things, my knowledge with all of this is gappy. And this is where the Raspberry Pi comes in again. It's a great tool, it's a great playground for learning all of this and, you know, kind of upscaling what you know. So that was just a very quick look at what I've been playing around with today. As I said there, I don't have RDP set up yet. I don't have Remote Desktop Protocol set up yet for this particular installation, but I've got it set up on my Windows laptop and my Windows computer. I also have terminal connections set up, you know, remote desktop connections on my phone, on my iPad, on Windows, etc. There's so many great applications out there that let you connect via a terminal. SSH, Secure Shell, is a little bit easier to set up normally, but you can set up remote desktop as well. But I do need to play around more with VNC and remote desktop. The reason why it's not working as easily is because I've got firewall set up on that little computer, and I've got other firewall set up in my router and my switch as well, which is why it's taking a little bit longer, because I've got so many security things set up locally in my network. But I'm just kind of demonstrating why I love the Raspberry Pi. Again, I love it for testing things like this. And I'm sure many of you are watching this thinking, why are you even doing this? Why not use TeamViewer? But I've used TeamViewer in the past. It's excellent, and there's solutions like AnyDesk which are excellent as well. But most of these solutions are, you know, either they're a premium solution where you have to pay a monthly plan, or they're freemium where they say you can use it free, but they'll limit your usage or they'll limit what you can do, etc. But there's a lot of tools out there which are open source, which are, you know, 100% free to use, but you do have to maybe, you know, spend a little bit more time understanding things and setting things up. But once you've got that knowledge, once you've leveled up your skill on that type of subject, then you're good to go. You're saving a lot of money. You've got more flexibility, more control. And if you're a bit geeky, then you might find it fun as well. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it again because it's okay me saying, you know, the Raspberry Pi is a playground, but I genuinely do use it a lot for testing things like that. It's just a great way to experiment with different things. And if I don't have any luck here, I can just throw in a completely different operating system tomorrow and start again. That's how flexible it is. Anyway, guys, I just thought I'd give you a quick insight into this. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear from all of you. As always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Take care.